Buddy, Scout Crafter here again. Here in the city, we grow things pretty big. We got big trees and we have big hawks. And this is the hawk season from September to about April. And I just happened to see one in my backyard yesterday, and he was huge. I think the thing was over 20 inches tall. And I shot some footage of it. Maybe some of you birders out there can help me out with it. Anyway, we got a nice restoration today for a Kraeuter Pliers, so let's get to it. Now, here's that footage of the hawk. If you look, I thought it was a Cooper hawk, but if you look at the tail, it's a little bit short, and this hawk is huge. And I shot this through the binoculars. You could hear the squirrels in the background screaming the alarm for this guy. So if you know what it is, let me know. All right, let's get to the project.
Okay, today's project. I know it sounds crazy, but sometimes I walk over. You have to be in the mood to do a certain tool, and I have a whole bunch of tools on the bench waiting to be done, and sometimes I go over there and I you have to be in the mood. What do I feel like doing today? Do I feel like doing painting? Do I feel like doing grinding? Well, I wanted to do these for a while. I just picked this up not too long ago at the Long Island Antique Tool Collectors Association. It's a Kraeuter 35610. I don't have one of these. This is just, I know right now you're looking at it saying what's the big deal, but the way these opened up, you could see it had a second and a third. I did one similar to this pair for Dave over at Old Sneelock's Workshop, and I always wanted a pair of these, but they're hard to find. Now let me show you about these. This don't have any embellishment, which I really like on the back of the handle, so it's kind of plain. But if you notice, they're asymmetrical. One is straight, one is curved, because you're meant to hold it like this, so the curved side goes in your palm. But look at the jaws. You see what the jaws look like? Yuck. Oh yeah, yuck. And look at that. Nice, huh? Let's get it over to the wire brush so we could do an evaluation and see how far we have to go with these. Now, one thing is, you see this here? It's peened over. What we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of heat on there and take this screw off, the nut. Okay, here we are on our post-wire brush evaluation, and you can see a lot of it. We do have some pitting left, but we got all that rust off. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? It's, pretty much original casting, what it would look like. Looks very nice. Okay, we got to address the jaws here. Now, this jaw on this side here, not too bad. You see the little striations across there? And, got a lot of the rust out. We'll tap it up with a file. But this one here, it's all worn off. So I'm going to drag a Dremel with a cutting wheel across there and see if I can't put in some, just a little bit of a hint of striations on there and grooves. And you can see everything else. Again, the rust came off. Looks good. The bolt here you can see looks very nice. Now, remember, it was peened over, and that's why we used the heat to take this off here. And what happens is, when it comes off, when you put this in, you're going to have to peen it over again, and you want to make sure that this goes back on, because otherwise, you have to take that peening off. And to do that, you address it to the wire brush at this angle like this, and just keep turning it, and you could see that it'll make it so that it'll thread again into that nut. So let's get finished. Let's take it over to the belt sander and get this. Okay, here's where file work comes in handy. Now, I first went over here, cleaned up the jaws with a flat file. Then, trying to re-find the grooves that were in there, I just followed the grooves that are there, picked up on the grooves that are already there with this triangular file, and re-established the grooves in the jaw. Okay, now over here, I flattened out this side, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack one against the other using the triangular file and try and, excuse the camera shake, and try and transfer one to the other by dragging the file from one side across the other. Now you can see I have the two files stacked, the two plier halves in the great-grandpa's vise, and I have them side by side. Now what I'm going to do is, by resting the file into each groove here, I have this just about a 32nd of an inch higher than this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to establish a groove here and then transfer to this one over here like that. And I'm going to try and get each one of these lines to the other jaw. You can see here we were able to transfer the grooves from here to here. Looks nice, and now we'll take it to the belt sander.
Now you know my favorite part. Remember what these look like before we started.
And we are calling this project done. Look how nice these came out, huh? And unfortunately, these didn't have any of the handle embellishments, but I really polished them out inside and out on both sides. There's no markings for the manufacturer other than over here where it says the Kraeuter 356-10. Now, you'll remember about Kraeuter. August Kraeuter came here 1859. He was 22 years old, and he came from Germany. And he came here and started working for a pistol manufacturer or a firearms company. And he worked there, and he teamed up with some other guys, started his own company. It took him 18 years. By 1878, he had his own company, and he started making high-quality tooling, things like that, calipers, pliers, wrenches. And this particular model came later on in the 20s, late 20s, early 30s. 356 was a real popular model. Always wanted one of these. They came in 6, 8, and 10-inch sizes. This is the 10-inch, the biggest size. This is probably a later model, indicative of the fact that there is no handle embellishments, and the name is over here. Let me show you how this beautiful pair of pliers work. Now, the beauty of a typical slip joint pliers, this is a 7-inch pair, just to demonstrate. You could see here that when you open up the slip joint pliers, if you want to get onto a nut or a pipe or something, you could see you have a range like this. But if you push this down just a little bit like that, it opens up, the jaw becomes wider, and you can grip larger fasteners. What was so nice about the Kraeuter design, or this design in particular, is it had 3 positions. So you had your normal position like this, which would close the jaws, also give you an opening like here. And then if you pushed it into the middle position like this, you could see that it opens it up even more, giving you almost a parallel closing, depending on what kind of nut you wanted to work on, or grip, things like that. You could see here how you can get a good grip like that. And then again, if you went with the 3rd position here, it gives you the widest position, and you could see how wide that position would work, where you could actually surround or a big piece of pipe, and you could see how much of an opening that jaw has. So it's a very nice design. Slip joint pliers are really, you know, a great pliers. See how nice the back of that fastener came out, how polished and nice that is. And we peened down the front here after we opened it up, took everything apart, put it back together, peened it down again a little bit. Not going crazy, there's no need to. It's just so that this nut stays stationary without backing off. Everything is so beautifully nice and smooth to the touch. It's just a marvelous pair of pliers to hold. It feels like such a quality pair now, especially compared to what it looked like before. But anyway, we have the Kraeuter 356-10, 10-inch, 3-position pliers, slip joint pliers, and I hope you enjoyed this restoration. Thanks very much for tuning in. Take care and have a nice day. Bye-bye.